Hey guys, welcome back to another video in my NSE 4 impromptu lab. My name is Devin Adams. I'm a Fortinet instructor here in Tempe, Arizona, and this lab is essentially a hosh-posh of anything that I want to throw at it. Why? Just to do it. All right, so that's why Mr. 40 Duck here. He was my rubber duck that I talked to get ideas. Might be the worst idea I've ever had, but that's okay. So that's what Mr. Duck's doing there. But I actually used this lab environment for another set of videos to quickly load balance some traffic, which involved into like an SD-WAN kind of solution. So if you guys want to catch up to where we're at here, you can go check out that playlist called Load Balancing WAN Traffic, and it's about 5 videos on how to get these little net term boxes to manipulate your traffic, to trash your traffic pretty much. But now we essentially have 4 links going to the FortiGate, whereas we only had 2 before. So, and what's nice about that too, we have the link monitors up like normal, we have load balancing happening like normal. I'm actually going to pop in there super quick and make sure there's no funky rules happening here. So let me do that real quickly. But while I'm logging in to do this, by the way, I've had several people, not just one. Hello, that's not good. Okay, I've had several people ask me about remote access VPNing. So mainly, you know, Dialup. So when we say Dialup users, guys, we don't mean necessarily a POTS line, a plain old telephone service line. We're talking about, we don't know what IP address they're coming in from. So before I go too much off of a tangent here, so before I can even like demonstrate or talk about how that is being affected, the goal that we have for this lab here is just to set up our GNS3 so we have the capabilities of doing our dial-up VPN testing. All right, so guys, I'm not a YouTuber at all. I just impromptu these videos on the fly, so I'm sorry if I was a little bit all over the place, but that's essentially going to be my goal in this video. I just got to make sure I don't have any weird funky SD-WAN rules going on that it's going to mess anything up. So if you guys were watching in the last video, we're going to go down to our SD-WAN rules, and I'm just going to take out these 2 here and essentially say, hey, just load balance them like normal. So get out of here. Boom. All right, there we go. So now it's accomplishing everything that we need to accomplish. And here we can go down to our utilization, and we can see that, oh, look how cool that is. It's actually distributing the traffic evenly across all 4 WAN links, even though there's not much happening there. So I thought that was kind of awesome. I don't know if I've ever seen it exactly 25. All right, anyways, here's my squirrel moment. So all right, so once again, let's just go ahead and set up this lab environment so we can do some testing of remote IPSec coming back into our headquarters. So where do we start? Well, this right here is actually just a Linux router, and I have shown how to configure that in other videos, so I'm not going to do that there. I just called it WAN and gave it a cloud because it's supposed to be simulating like an autonomous system or some kind of remote connection. Now this guy right here is the actual, let me pop this out here. Here we go. This is the actual NATed cloud. There should be something here that says NAT. And if you drag this in here, it is DHCP, and this actually goes to the real internet. That's how we're getting web page and things like that. So we're going to use this Linux box really to simulate us going over public IP addresses. So, and I say simulate because obviously because it's connected to the real internet, I'm not going to use public IP addresses, even though technically I probably could. And then if it's a 10200, that's our make-believe publicly facing IP addresses within this little lab environment. So the first thing I'm going to do, all right, I'm going to take one of those empty interfaces that I'm not using, and I am going to drop a normal switch in there. All right, so here we go. We'll just do an Ethernet switch. Bloop. All right, I don't need a fancy one. Okay, there it is. And I'm actually going to call this somewhere no NATs, because I've had several questions specifically about NATed environments. All right, so if somebody's coming in from somewhere without NATs, we can just plug it into the switch real quick and test its connectivity with our VPN access. So just for the sake of making it pretty, I'll go ahead and I'll change that symbol to a cloud to kind of represent you know, some kind of autonomous system somewhere out there. And what I'm going to do, though, is that I'm going to connect it to the broadcast domain of the 10.200.5 network. So I'm just going to make a label for myself so I don't forget about that. Okay? So watch out, duck. You know what? Can I actually put a... Can I actually drop that down one? I think I can, because that's a little bit annoying. Nope, probably can't. All right, whatever. That works. So this is somewhere without any NATs, all right? It's really coming from the 10.200.5.0/24 network, all right? And like I said, if we need a device in there, we can just plug it in, give it one of these subnet masks, or an IP address within the subnet mask can be good. But how are we going to simulate a NATed connection? Well, here we could use another FortiGate, but I feel like that's cheating just simply because we have control over it. So I am going to pop this open, and I've already done plenty of videos on Pfsense, but it is an open source firewall, and it does a pretty good job doing what we're trying to accomplish here. So here we go. Let's go ahead and grab our Pfsense here, and this is going to act as our NATed cloud. So hopefully this will work. So let's go ahead and plug in our interfaces. Boop. There we are. So this is going to act as the WAN connection, right? And then we can actually just go to a switch, and then here we go. And we can attach any kind of device under near, and this is going to be our somewhere behind a NAT device. All right, so going to noise, and like I said, maybe I'll change that to some kind of cloud interface. Not a big deal right now, though. So here we go. And then let's turn it on. And we should be able to see that booting there. So, all right. And we'll just set this up real quick for a little DHCP, right? So here we go. And while this is doing its thing, all right, so because in my experience, I don't know what's going on here, but sometimes it can take a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and throw on another Windows device down here and just have it posting. So, and the reason why is essentially, oh, there we go, blah, 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 blah. We could at least get that all loaded up. So here we go. Let's come down here. Let's throw in a Windows device. Alright, here we are. And I'll use Windows 10. Okay, so this is going to act as our road warrior that we don't know where they're coming in from. Alright, there we are. And we'll just have this kind of like booting up in the background. So here we are. And I'll plug them there into somewhere. And we'll have that loading too. All right, awesome. Somewhere PC. And like I said, the whole point here in this video, because I don't like to keep them too long, is just to set up GNS3 so we can test our remote installation. So here we go. Alright, yes, that's my keyboard. Yep, that looks all good there. It's going to go ahead and install GNS3. So, okay, there we go. I just realized I had my fan on in the background. That's probably going to be super loud. No! Let me turn that off. Okay. Alright, so that's going. And let's see how our Windows machine is doing. Yep, that's booting too. Good times. Alright. So while we're waiting for that, I don't know what we should call this, just like some hop. I don't have a clue. Some kind of route. And then I'll change this to a cloud just to make it more fun. So here we go. Change the symbol to the cloud. There we are. All right. So here we can test it with and without NAT for our remote connections once we get everything up and running. So, and hopefully that will satisfy enough for us to do our lab environment. So, all right, cool. Now it is finished. Would you like to open a shell to make the final manual configurations? Sure. Oh, I guess not that much. Okay, let's reboot it. So we got Pfsense running. Now, once again, Pfsense is going to give us that NATed device because a lot of times, guys, if they are coming in remote, we don't know if they're behind NAT or not. So we might have to like configure something like NAT transversal. All right, it happens. Not a big deal. Okay, so we're going to let that go ahead and boot up. Let's see how our Windows machine is doing. Nice. There we go. I wonder if this thing will make me log in or will do it automatically. Oh, what was that password? It says it right there when you're installing it. Here, just a second. Let's do configure. I thought you can come in here and see the details to that. Let's go to our configure template. No information about that? Oh, stop. I think it's just the padd password here. So padd ssw0rd exclamation. Nope. passw0rd exclamation. Oh, maybe. Okay. Just kind of killing time for that Pfsense to boot anyways. Nope. Here it is. And it is trying to come up. So now Pfsense does have the WAN set by default for what you call it, for DHCP. So it might hang on here the first time that you boot it up. It should not be that big of a deal. So we'll just go ahead and let that kind of hang out there. So hopefully it'll pop up. Did we get the right password here? Nice. You know what? I'm gonna not remember that. So I'm just going to add a little note to myself over here, and I'll let FortiDuck guard it. All right, here we go. So here we are. Windows 10, and the username was, what was the username? IE user. Okay. Oops. All right, IE. Come on, you can do it, dude. IE user, and the password is passw0rd exclamation. So we'll have that hang out with FortiDuck over here. All right, there we go. Okay, how's that Pfsense box doing? All right, so here we go. So it looks like 192.168.1.1 is going to be on this side of our NAT, and then there is no WAN. So let's go ahead and fix that. So let's go ahead and set our interfaces IP addresses. First we'll do our WAN, which is going to be, nope, not DHCP, but 10.200.5.1, which is the interface that's plugged into this switch that's going to represent our somewhere out there without any NAT. So there we go. It is going to be a 24. All right. Now here it's saying for WAN, enter the new WAN IP address upstream gateway address. Now this is going to be on our Linux router here. All right. And that's going to be our 10.200.5.254. All right. We are not doing IPSec. Sure. All right. And now we're going to set up the LAN. All right. And the reason why I'm going back here and setting up the LAN interface is to turn on the DHCP. So here we go. We'll say 2. It's going to be 192.168.1.1 with the /24. Oh, I do that separately. There we go. 24. All right. It is not a WAN connection. I'm not doing IPsec. Now here's what I wanted, and that is, hey, do you want to turn on DHCP? I sure do. All right. Enter the start of it. We'll do 192.168.1.10. And then we'll pass out like maybe 10 of them. Not like we'll have that many devices here. All right. You guys got to love that octet there. 268, breaking the laws of bits and bytes. All right, here we go. 168.1.20. All right, and there you go. And you know what? That's all we should need to be able to have a NAT device in our lab network so we can play around with Dialup IPsec. And just to double check that, let's go to Somewhere PC. All right, and we'll just do a release and renew here, just to verify it, and then maybe ping out to some IP address out there in the world. So here we go. Let's do our, oh, I hate that there's no command prompt. Here we go. CMD, come on, man. CMD. All right, we'll run this as a admin. Yep, and let's do a release and renew. So we'll do an IP config release, and then an IP config renew. Come on, IP address. It should get 192.168.1.10, and it did. And we'll just ping out google.com or something. And there it is. All right, guys. So this is a quick video that we did, no big deal, but essentially what we did was create a environment here that we can test our Dialup IPsec. So we can plug in another PC over here, all right, or just simply swap the two cables here later on. But if we want a device that has a publicly facing IP address, we can test it here. Or if we need to test IP addresses that is behind like a NAT device, we'll do it here. And that's what is going to happen in our next set of videos. We are going to play around with IPsec, and hopefully I can get it done sometime soon. So maybe off camera too, I'll try to clean up this lab environment. It's looking a little hairy, but all right, guys. So once again, that was just to set it up to get us ready to practice our remote IPsec dial-up. All right, so I'll see you guys then.